Welcome back to Keep Buggering On. And fair warning, everything you're about to hear is true, and none of it is going to make you feel any better about humanity.
Picture this. It's the middle of the night. The guy is dead asleep in a sleeping bag on the floor of a command post in Belgium. His aide shakes him awake and says, "Sir, the Germans want us to surrender."
And the most decorated response of his entire military career, the words that end up on his New York Times obituary 30 years later,
is him, still half asleep in a sleeping bag, going nuts.
Not, "We will never surrender," not a speech, just nuts. Like someone told him the vending machine ate his dollar bill.
Listen, are you ready for this? Because it's a gem.
Okay, so December 1944, Hitler throws basically everything he's got left at the Allied lines through the Ardennes forest.
400,000 troops, over 1,000 tanks, all punching through what was supposed to be a quiet sector where the Allies parked their most exhausted divisions to rest over Christmas.
Great plan.
Genius plan. So this German push creates a bulge in the Allied line, hence Battle of the Bulge, and runs straight through this one crossroads town, Bastogne, which everybody suddenly needs really badly.
By December 21st, Bastogne is completely surrounded. Inside, the 101st Airborne, plus some armor and tank destroyer units, dug in, freezing, running low on food, ammo, medical supplies. Outside, German armor in every direction.
And the acting commander of the 101st is Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe. Career artillery officer, nobody you'd pick out of a lineup as a future one-word legend.
Which is kind of the whole show, isn't it?
Kind of the whole show.
So, December 22nd, morning, 4 German soldiers walk up under a white flag with a typed ultimatum in English and German, demanding the honorable surrender of the town. 2 hours to decide, or quote, total annihilation.
Total annihilation. Typed on an English typewriter, by the way, with the German accent marks added in by hand afterwards, because even the Nazis surrendered to man had a typo problem.
That detail survived. That's in the actual historical record.
It's in the record.
So the message works its way up the chain to McAuliffe, who, again, is asleep. His aide wakes him up, tells him the Germans want to surrender. And McAuliffe's genuine, unrehearsed, still half in a sleeping bag reaction is nuts.
Not a decision, not a strategy, a reflex.
Right? And here's the part the legend usually skips. Later, when his staff gathers to actually write the formal reply, McAuliffe sits there with a pencil and paper and goes, well, I don't know what to tell them.
He's stumped. The most famous comeback in U.S. military history, and the guy who said it doesn't remember he already said it.
It's his staffer, Pinard, who has to remind him, "Sir, you said nuts." And the room breaks into applause. And McAuliffe goes, "Oh, yeah." And he writes it down.
Brilliant.
Right? That's the good stuff. The myth is brilliant general delivers perfect one-liner under pressure. The truth is, guy blurts the correct answer half asleep, forgets he said it, and has to be reminded by a coworker 20 minutes later.
Which honestly reminds me of you and Mackenzie.
Oh no.
Tell it. Same joke structure, I promise.
Okay. So Mackenzie's about 16. She's working a shift at a gas station. Gets off probably around 11 at night. She calls me. I'm asleep. First thing out of her mouth, "Mom, do we have insurance?"
Classic. Half asleep parent energy already.
I say, "Yeah, we have insurance." "Why?" "I'm completely on autopilot. not even really awake. Same way McAuliffe says nuts before his brain caught up to what's actually happening.
The reflex answer.
The reflex answer. And then she says, yeah, but does it work?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, that's the sentence. I was up and wide awake in about 5 seconds flat, because that is not a hypothetical question at 11 at night from your 16-year-old child.
So tell the folks what happened.
She had hit a deer, totaled the car. And while we're standing there with the officer sorting it out, he actually asked us if we want to take the deer home for the meat.
Of course he did. Genuine crisis. Genuine relief nobody got hurt. And somehow also a guy offering you venison in the same 5 minutes.
Right there on the shoulder of the road. So, you want the deer?
That's the whole show in one phone call.
And here's the actual McAuliffe parallel. My first answer was true and completely useless. Yes, we have insurance. Doesn't mean anything until somebody asks the real follow-up. McAuliffe's first answer was the right one, and he didn't even know it was the right one until somebody else pointed at it and said, that's it. That's the thing you already said.
The first answer is never the whole answer. Sometimes you got to get the second question to get the whole answer.
Or hit a deer to get there.
That's the McAuliffe move exactly. The overthinking almost costs you the good line.
So the typed reply gets delivered. Colonel Harper walks it out to the German officers personally. And it just says, nuts. And the Germans, they don't get it.
They're standing there like, is this a military code? Is this a trap? What does nuts mean?
So Harper has to explain it to them. And the line he uses is, in plain English, it is the same as go to hell.
Which is somehow an even better answer than the original answer.
It really is a two-part joke, and the Germans just got the setup and the punchline delivered separately.
And honestly, that's kind of a lost skill. Just saying the blunt true thing and trusting people to catch up. Now, everybody hedges. Nobody just says no.
And we've turned no into a paragraph. I really appreciate you thinking of me, and at this time, I don't think it's quite the right fit. Just say nuts.
Harper had to stand there and translate no into go to hell for the people who genuinely couldn't parse a flat refusal. Now we need someone to translate our own hedged messages back into no for us.
We're doing Harper's job to ourselves.
Now, here's the myth check. Because we checked it, everyone assumes this became an instant sensation. Front page the next morning.
Oh, it did not. The first newspaper report didn't run until December 26th, 4 days later, because of the delayed wire dispatch. The siege was still going on. Nobody back home knew about nuts while it was actually happening.
The legend needed a few days in the mail before it became a legend.
And the actual siege doesn't end with a witty comeback either. Patton's Third Army, specifically the 4th Armored Division's 37th Tank Battalion, physically punches through and relieves the town on December 26th after covering something like 100 miles in 5 days.
The one-word joke bought them the space, the tanks bought them the rest.
And look, we all know a version of this at work. Someone hands you a 2-hour deadline, a take it or leave it, framed like you have no options, when really they need you a lot more than they're letting on. The forced urgency move didn't die in 1944.
No, it just wears a lanyard now.
And the honest answer is usually shorter than the one you talk yourself into giving. You draft the polite, hedged version, and somewhere in your head, the real answer was always nuts. You just needed a canard to remind you.
Kennard flushed it, honestly. The most underrated guy in the whole story.
And we put nuts on a shirt for this one, which, yes, we're aware, is a little funny. Taking a moment of total defiance and turning it into merchandise.
But that's honestly what we've always been doing in this show. We find some real unscripted moment where somebody says the true thing in the middle of an impossible situation, and we put it on a shirt. Same move every time. If it's true and it lands, we're putting it on cotton.
Even Just Do It has a stranger origin than anybody selling sneakers wants printed on the box. We're not going to be the ones to spoil that story, though. Look it up. It's a doozy, but the pattern holds every time.
We checked, it's true, and we're not going to pretend otherwise. The man refused to dress it up, so we're not going to dress up the fact that we sell shirts.
KBO Standard Supply recognized it as true and worth wearing. That's the whole pitch. Wear the mindset. Now, our store still isn't quite open yet. We are aiming for the doors to be up by mid-August. But do bookmark the address, www.kbostandardsupply.com. And as soon as we let you know it's open, you'll be ready to head over.
You know, everybody pictures McAuliffe staring up at the sky for inspiration before he says it, squinting at the heavens, waiting for the perfect line to descend.
When really, he was just looking at the inside of a sleeping bag.
The answer wasn't up there. It was already out of his mouth before he was even fully awake.
Sometimes checking the sky just means somebody's got to remind you what you already said. We checked it. It's real. You're not going to believe it. Until next time, take care of yourself, my friend.